a regular contributor to TalkTV and a man that I've spoken to many times before. But today, it's going to be a bit different.
We've talked about this so often, haven't we? Is it working? Is it not working? But we're still talking about Just Stop Oil on all the channels you can name. And we're talking about the fact the climate crisis is here. Look at the weather around us right now, around the world, and that it's caused by fossil fuels. And the idea of drilling for more is, as the UN say, moral and economic madness. And just this week, the OBR, the Office of Budget Responsibility, reported to the government and said sticking with fossil fuels will cost twice as much as moving to green energy, twice as much to the economy, which is crazy.
But only half as much as housing all the illegal migrants that are coming here for one reason or another. But let's talk about this high temperature business, right? Because I'm going to say to you that the BBC, the Met Office and various other places are basically stunting it all up, right? Because I've got some actual figures in front of me of what the temperatures are right now as we do this interview, right? Now, they're claiming that in Algeria, it's about 48 degrees. It's 50 degrees in Morocco. They reckon it's like 47 degrees in parts of North Africa. Now, according to my actual weather a chart here that I've got. In Barcelona, it's currently 31 degrees. And at this time of the day, that means the heat has been on all afternoon. It's coming into early evening. Deniz in Turkey, 32. Palma, Mallorca, 34. Heidelberg, 26. Lindos in Greece, 34. Dubai, 35. These are not degrees of nonsense of 48 and 50 that people have been scared by. These are actual high 30s. People go on holiday, they enjoy it. It's nowhere near as bad as people are making out.
Well, I don't know if you've been watching the news, if you've seen the wildfires that are, taking grip across the US, across Europe.
Yeah, they have them every year.
Temperatures. Yeah, they don't have them
every
year like this.
They do.
Not like this. No.
I promise you, Malibu goes on fire every single year in California, right? Every single year, Malibu goes on fire.
But not like this, is what I'm saying. So in Canada, the wildfires a couple of weeks ago were virtually the biggest ever before the wildfire season even got underway. That's how bad it is.
Oh, so they've actually got a wildfire season. So there you go. They've got a wildfire season.
Nobody's arguing about that. We have summers, we have seasons. It does get hot in the summer, but it doesn't get hot like this. Did you see the NASA scientist this week? He came out and he said, this will be the coldest summer you ever experience in your lifetime. That's his stark warning to everybody on the planet. This is the coldest now you'll ever experience.
Well, he obviously wasn't here in June because it was pretty damn hot here in June, I have to say. I had to put the air conditioning on.
Yes, but the record temperatures we experienced were in the first week of July, and that's a global record as well as a UK record.
Do you know where the hottest record was ever taken, and do you know when it was and where?
I'm sure you do, so hit me with it.
I'm going to tell you, it was Death Valley, 1913, at 56.6 degrees Celsius, right? Which is pretty hot. But to be fair, that's why they call it Death Valley. Nobody lives there. It's a desert, and it's also below sea level. But what I'm saying to you, Dale, is that all of this kind of alarmist talk has got people anxious. It's got people worried. And just by taking the train instead of driving to work, it's not going to make any difference, is it? I also heard a climate specialist from, I think it was Leicester University the other day, saying that if we stopped producing any CO2 completely and utterly, which is impossible, but if we stopped it right now, today, it would be at least 30 years before anything changed.
No, I don't accept that. But look, nobody's saying catch a train is the answer to the problem. If we're talking just stop oil, they're saying something very different. Just stop drilling for oil and gas, new oil and gas in the North Sea, because we can't add to the problem. That's a simple proposition.
Why do you think so many people in Just Stop Oil are old?
I'm not sure they are.
Yeah, they are. They're either students, right, with stupid names like Edred, or they're old, sort of, wrinklies who have got nothing better to do, who should be enjoying their retirement, and they were sort of invading the tennis at Wimbledon and, running into people driving their cars in the middle of London.
I think that's an extreme caricature, Mikey, but that's what you're known for.
But this is the thing. I'm just going on what I see on television, right? I mean, you're the guy that's funding them. How much have you given them so far?
You asked me this question before, and I think we're talking somewhere between £200,000 and £300,000.
But isn't it true, though, Dale, that all of this climate alarmism is making people anxious, it's making people worry, and they actually think that, they're going to die from heat exhaustion, which they're simply not going to?
Yeah, but it's actually happening. So for a while, I've been saying 40,000 people died last year in Europe because of the heat. And I got that figure from the various governments of Europe putting out their own reports. Last week, somebody pulled that together, dived deeper into the data and said it's at least 60,000 deaths in Europe, 4,000 in our country. We're talking deaths
Rubbish.
here, right? Compared to a bit of traffic disruption and
No.
stuff like that. People are dying now because of the climate crisis.
This is the
More
thing.
people will die this summer than did last summer. These are facts that are happening.
But the fact is as well, though, Dale, more people die from the cold than die from the heat. And we've been told by Sadiq Khan and his kind of Office of Propaganda for years that people are dying of, bad air. And, the air quality is so bad in London, 4,000 people are dying from bad pollution. And that's not true either, because there's only ever been one case where somebody has been found to have died because of air pollution. It was a tragic case of a young woman, a young girl who happened to suffer from asthma. So I'm not buying any of that. But what I would say to you is this. The entire kind of Western world is focused on fiddling the figures, right? We know that the Met Office has fiddled the figures. We know that the BBC and their weather department are fiddling the figures. They're giving out reports to say that potentially it could get really, really hot. It might be 50 degrees in Algeria, but it turns out it's not. It's only in the 30s. So I don't think that's fair. It's not good journalism, and it's not good practice, in my view.
Okay, well, look, the data that Sadiq Khan talks about is not his own. It comes from our government, right? And they say 40,000 people a year in the whole country die from traffic pollution, 4,000 in the capital. I don't think we can dispute that. I think that's a matter of science.
We can dispute it. Well, no, of course, because there's no evidence of it. There's evidence that one person has been said to have died from it. But I've got a question for you, Dale. Where are you at the moment?
Ah, that one. You know where I am. I'm in my office.
Right, but why is there nobody else?
I know.
Why is there nobody else there?
Yeah, we're this is how we work now. A lot of people work from home. They choose that because it's a way of life that we experienced during the pandemic, isn't it? And this is my floor of the this is my floor of the building, and it has less people on it than the rest of the building.
Yeah, but but surely you're wasting all that energy behind you. There's nobody there. Switch all the lights off, will you, for heaven's sake?
There are actually people there, and some of them have just popped out for meetings, and some of them just don't want to be in the background when I'm on with you.
Yeah, I don't blame them either. Anyway, listen, good to talk to you. Keep bringing us those false facts, and we'll see what we can do with them. Dale Vince from Ecotricity, a man who likes to campaign for Just Stop Oil. He's given them 300 grand. For heaven's sake,